Former IDF spokesperson and author of the book When the Stones Speak, Major Doron Spielman joins me. Good evening, sir. You know, it's very strange to me that Hamas says that it wants an end to the war. And there's nothing to stop Hamas, who has been absolutely vicious, from simply surrendering. You know, it's the leaders who want to survive, who've caused the death and destruction. They want to have an end to the war. Just they could surrender.
Absolutely, Greta. This could have been over already on October 7th or October 8th. Israel's been super clear. All they have to do is very simple. Return the 56 hostages now back home, alive or dead, and leave the Gaza Strip completely demilitarized, and it would have ended. The problem is that this is, of course, as you know, Hamas's playbook goes back to propaganda. They've indoctrinated everyone in the Gaza Strip, which is what my book goes into about When the Stones Speak. And when they say that Israel doesn't want to ceasefire, of course it's not true. Hamas wants to survive. They are fighting Israelis. They're shooting rockets at Israel today. They're shooting and killing Israeli soldiers. This is not the actions of a regime that is willing to surrender.
All right, I'm going to ask the question. It probably isn't a good question, but I think probably viewers at home are wondering: is that Hamas won't return all the hostages, the 56 now, unless Israel agrees to end the war. What is it that stops Israel from saying, "Fine, we'll stop the war, give them the 56, and then just re-upping the war right away to destroy Hamas"?
Hamas is actually not willing to let the 56 hostages go. I mean, if that was, Israel would have gotten them a long time ago, and that would have been the plan.
But that's what they say. But that's what Hamas says. That's what Hamas tells the United States. Apparently, they're even direct talks. But Hamas says that that's what the holdup is that Israel won't say the war ends. So Israel could say, "Fine, the war ends. You know, give us our 56 people. Most of them are dead. They're just bodies, and shame on Hamas for being so extra cruel. But then as soon as you get the bodies back, you know, go back in."
Again, Greta, Israel would agree to that in 1 second if Hamas agreed to demilitarize, but they don't. When they say that the war will end, remember, Hamas works on propaganda. That's exactly what this goes back. It goes back to the roots of this entire conflict. When they say one thing, they do something else. I mean, what my book is speaking about is that in the Gaza Strip from the very beginning, we have to understand Hamas has manipulated everyone in the Gaza Strip to believe that Jews have absolutely no right whatsoever to Israel, meaning these are people who've erased history of Jews, Christians, and Americans.
Well, they think it begins they think the dispute begins, or some sort of ownership or a dispute over it in 1947. What your book says, it goes back, it traces all the thousands of years that Jews have occupied Israel. I mean, everyone sort of redefines when these things begin.
Absolutely, and Greta, you know what you've been able to do throughout this entire war, and Newsmax and all of your audience, if you've had a very clear moral barometer, you've always gone back to the idea of what is actually going on. And there's no question. What they teach in their schools is that Jews and Christians were never in Israel. A colonialist regime came here in 1947, 1948, and took over the land. They've erased our history. What I've come up with, and what I saw with my own eyes directing excavations at the city of David, you go down to the bedrock and you find the actual evidence that shows that the Bible actually was here. And that's what they're fighting against. It's the same propaganda that they tried to bury our history, that what they're doing in Gaza today, about this peace deal.
Well, the other thing too is that on October 8th, I did a special here right after the day after the slaughter on October 7th, and before I came into the studio, I read the charter of Hamas, and there is just no way they're ever going to negotiate. There's no way they're ever going to do anything good. That makes very plain that they want the elimination of Jews in Israel. So that's where I start from. Plus, I've seen the videotape where they're wearing GoPro cameras and where they're slaughtering infants, adults, you name it.
They're proud of it. They're proud of this.
Yeah.
I mean, they declared to the world, you know, it's very clear, deny the Holocaust, deny biblical history, and then try to destroy Israel. And it is in their charter, and their charter also equates Jews with Nazis. And our job, I think, with all of us today, since it's unfortunately spilled over onto campuses, as you've covered in the United States, it's the same rhetoric. Our job is to go back to that bedrock. That's what I wrote about When the Stones Speak. When you hear about the voices of history, our job is to read, understand, and then tell that story. It's critical. This is not only Israel's war, and I know you've been clear on this. It's the United States' foundation as well as under attack.
Well, I downloaded the audio version today from Amazon, so I'm going to get on your book and listen to it right away. Major Doron Spielman, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Greta.